Fire away when ready.
Bryan, what did you learn from Charles Barkley today?
He just gave us some good life lessons. Just kind of taught us about like being a good teammate and caring about the sport that you play and just being all in for it. And you know, when you're giving so much of your life to it, just make sure you do everything you can for it. Just he said he admitted not knowing too much about football, so it was more just kind of him talking like a good word to us.
He looks like a football guy, though, doesn't he?
He said he played for one day. That's what he told us. He said he's not coming back though after that one day.
Was it a surprise that he showed up today, or did you know it?
No, we didn't know. It was cool seeing him in there. Yeah, it was definitely exciting.
Bryan, looks like you're taking on more of a leadership role this year from what I've seen in the drills and stuff. Is that something you're putting a lot of energy into?
Yeah, I try to. Just, you know, from the people ahead of me who kind of led me when I got in here, and it helped me so much that, you know, if I'm able to help somebody younger than me or somebody who might not know as much as me get to where I am, or, you know, past me, like I'll do whatever I can to make that happen.
I'm looking out there, I see you, I see Tyler, I see Peyton Page, a youngster, Trey Williams, Darnold. Man, there's so much depth at that position. What are you seeing out of all these guys?
Everybody has something different that they bring. You know, everybody has. Darnell's just very consistent, does everything right, you know, all the time. Peyton's a huge freshman. You like never see something like that. So, and he's super fast and athletic, and just everybody has their own kind of thing that they're really good at, and some people are good at multiple things, and it's really good to have a group like this. You know, we're able to, you know, we're all really close too, so just bond, and we go up to watch film all the time together, like just things like that, hang out outside of football. So we're all just a really tight-knit group, and it's going to be a fun year.
Speaking of hanging out outside of football, you and DJ still roommates?
Yep.
I guess. Do you guys ever, you know, sit there at night and say, hey, this is our year? Like DJ watched last year, you were learning, you both had your moments, but do you ever sit there and go, okay, this is our time?
I mean, I wouldn't say exactly those words, but we kind of, you know, take it on like, you know, it's going to be a good year for both of us, we think, you know, and we're with Tyler and RJ Mickens. Tyler Venables are also our roommates. We just moved in yesterday to our new spot, and so, yeah, you know, us four talk about, you know, football a lot when we leave. We watch film together outside of football, the defensive guys, and yeah, so. Yeah.
But is there anything you take from DJ watching film, like pick his brain? What does a quarterback see? What is he looking for?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times he tells me, like he asks me too, like what's going on plays and stuff. So it's good to have, you know, his insight. He knows the whole offense. So like if I have any questions about, like, if I show him film and I wonder what's going on, he can always just tell me, and it's, you know, it helps a lot. So, yep.
What's the biggest difference that you see in him now versus when you guys were rooming a year ago?
As a person or on the field?
Both.
I mean, on the field, I see him as, you know, much more of a leader. You know, he's kind of running that offense right now, and, you know, it's really cool to see. It's exciting. He, you know, came in as 18-year-olds right out of high school, and, you know, didn't know what we were doing, just came in here just kind of doing whatever, and now, you know, just to see him, you know, really take on a leadership role and run that offense as well as he's doing, it's awesome to see. You know, off the field, we've just gotten a lot closer, so we're just, you know, we're able to open up to each other more, and, you know, we just became really good friends, so.
Coach Swinney was just saying that last year you were just a great athlete. Now you're adding all the proper techniques and all the things that go with doing it the right way. What kind of strides do you feel like you've made from your freshman year to now heading into your sophomore?
I mean, just with my football technique, I didn't really know, like he said, much of what I was doing, like this whole defense and learning everything, techniques. I mean, run technique, and just all kinds of things that you never think of coming out of high school. And when you get here, you need to know them all, just because how different the game is. So I'm just kind of putting that all together now, and, you know, learning a bunch of new stuff still to this day. So.
Do you feel like the defensive line that came before you kind of set a standard that you guys, this group, is trying to live up to, maybe make their own name in the same way that the Power Rangers did a couple years back?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to make our own name, but just having them as a, you know, kind of like an older brother kind of deal, just, you know, what they did for this program and the D-line was awesome, and it was super cool watching them, and people on this team who got to play with them have kind of carried on their traditions just with, you know, being good leaders and things like that. We just kind of passed everything down to all of us, and, you know, we just try to keep it up.
Bryan, there's obviously a lot of hype around this entire unit. How do you guys handle that, managing expectations when it's day 3 of fall camp and you got a lot of work to do?
I mean, we just stay inside out, all of us. We just we're working right now. We're not really listening to all the outside noise. We're just trying to, you know, stay together as a group and just work on everything we need to be ready for our first game.
In your opinion, how good can this group be?
As good as it wants to be, you know. We just got to put in the work, and the sky's the limit for us.
How motivating is game 1? I mean, sometimes game 1 can be against Troy or against La Tech or something like that, but game 1's against Georgia. It's the top 5 battle the world's going to watch.
Yeah. I mean, here, you know, every game we look at as a huge game. Of course, Georgia's a great opponent, and it's going to be a big game. Everyone's looking forward to it. But you just look at it as another game. They're going to be a really, really tough opponent, and they have really good players, and it's going to be a tough battle, but just another game for us.
Does it change anything about how you work in preseason camp at all, knowing that there's no margin for error right off the bat?
Every preseason camp, there's no margin for error. You got week in and week out. This is all just getting everything down. We need to lay the framework for this season, and so that's every year. Last year for me and this year, it's the same thing. Nothing's changed up in our camp. We're just getting ready for the season.
You talked about technique you worked on. Was there anything in particular? Reading and reacting in terms of certain situations, or hand technique? what types of stuff were you looking at and saying I really need to hone?
It was, for me, mostly it was just my run game technique I needed to work on. From going against 200-300 pounders, double teaming you, it's a big difference from high school. So I needed to get my footwork down, my hands, my eyes, everything just had to get better for how fast and more physical this game is.
And so when you get on the field here for the first day of fall camp, do you notice you're able to get between guys, kind of get off the ball easier? I guess how does that work actually translate?
It just slows down for me. The game just slows down for me. I'm able to read backfield sets better. I'm kind of able to read what's going to come at me before it even happens, and that kind of slows everything down for me. It just makes things. It makes me be able to play faster. I'm not actually faster, but it kind of lets me play faster just because I'm more free.
Bryan, how would you compare the depth of your unit this year compared to what it was last season?
We had a bunch of stuff going on last year. Yeah, injuries and sicknesses and all kinds of things. So. As long as everybody can stay healthy, we have all the depth we need. We have a ton of really good players in our D-line room, D-end and D-tackle, so it'll be perfect.
Bryan, you talked about you and DJ coming in here last year as 18-year-olds, not really knowing too much, but watching you earlier, it seemed like you're a pretty vocal leader out there with your teammates. What's your progression there as a leader in the locker room been like, or just when you? It's been big from last year to now. Coming in, I'm just quiet, kind of in the back, watching, learning. And now kind of taking on a leadership role this year. Just like I said, just trying to help anybody that I can who needs it. And if I know something more than them, just helping them. And even like people like TD, he can help me with some stuff. I help him with some stuff. Just we're able to go back and forth together and kind of work off each other.
This last group of D linemen that were a big deal around here, kind of had their colorful personalities and the Power Ranger stuff. Is there a similar dynamic personality-wise with you guys, or?
There's some funny dudes in the D-line room. Definitely, Rook and TD and Trey. There's some characters in there. Peyton as well. So I don't know if I heard they were the same way. I never really got to be in here with any of them, but I'm sure.
You're not strapping on a Power Rangers.
No, not anytime soon. Not anytime soon.
Was there in particular when you were getting recruited defensive lineman that you kind of looked at that maybe inspired you to say, okay, this is something I want to be a part of?
You see those guys, the Power Rangers that were here, and you see them, and it's really cool to see that they went to school here. But for me personally, it was just where I thought I'd get treated the best, and Coach Sweeney, Coach Bates, Coach Venables, all those guys just have made it feel like home for me from when I started getting recruited. So that's what it boiled down to for me.
Do you guys like being compared to them? That some people will say y'all could be just as good potentially.
We definitely want to make our own name for ourselves, but just learning after them really. Like I said, they passed down a ton of traditions and stuff to us. Maybe not the same, but learning a lot about them and then just kind of breaking off and doing our own thing.
I know Christian and Cleveland were both big on their legacy and how they wanted to leave their own mark. Do you guys kind of see that way for you guys too?
Yeah, that's the goal hopefully for us as a D-line unit. Yeah, definitely.
What do you feel like separates you guys? What do you feel like you can do to really make your mark?
Everybody has their own. Our D-line can be as special as any D-line in the country. We have all the talent in the world that we need. As long as everybody just puts everything together and keeps working, we'll be able to do it.
Who on this group that nobody talks about should people start talking about?
I'm going to go DN here. I'm going to go with Justin Maskell. He's been really good all spring, and even now just starting out in the summer. He's worked really hard in the weight room and running this offseason, so I think he's going to have a breakout year.
What do you think changed with him? Was it because he had that extra year, or what changed with him?
I think it could be. I don't know. He was good last year as well, but I just think he brought it to a new level this year. Just got really everything leveled up in his game, off the field stuff. He just looks really good to me.
There's a lot of depth at end, obviously, but at tackle, how do you see that kind of developing?
we have a lot of depth there too. You know, there's some really good players behind us and with us. So I don't see any issue there at all.
Who are some of those guys, and why don't you feel good about those guys?
Really, just about anybody in the D tackle room. You know, you see Ruth, Darnell, Trey, E.T., Peyton, all those guys are really good. So everyone just keeps developing. We'll have all the depth that we need.
Bob Horse was telling us in Charlotte that his favorite DJ story is that he just got his driver's license.
Yeah.
What is your best DJ story?
Oh, I don't know. That's funny. He didn't even have his permit until like a couple months ago, and then he had to go back to California to get his license. Best DJ story. I've never been out to the West Coast, so like all the stuff that he brings with him, just like a West Coast personality, is like just really different to see. Like some of the stuff that he wears and dresses. Like I'm like kind of looking at him funny, but no, he's a good guy.
You
Yep.
guys had a special guest today. What was that like? You know, having Charles Barkley there and talking to you guys.
Yeah, it was really cool. He, you know, is a role model to a lot of people in our room. Watching him growing, maybe a little bit after, but his highlights and everything is really cool. Just to be able to meet him in person and hear what he had to say was awesome.
What was his message to you guys?
He was just talking to us about just life lessons, just good things, just good words. And I said earlier, he admitted to not knowing too much about football, so he played one day of it and wrapped it up, threw his helmet up. So just kind of life lessons. Yeah.
Any of the freshmen that really caught your eye so far? Whether it be summer or out here in the first few days?
Summer. We're still early in it. It's only been 2 days. I don't know. Maybe not quite yet. You give me a couple days, I'll be able to give you an answer. Yep.
I'm sorry to keep going back to DJ, but can you walk us through the first time y'all met?
We met, I was here, I think. Yeah, we met at a game here, the South Carolina game here, and just kind of a brief hello. We weren't going to room together, like nothing like that, until like a couple weeks before we got here. We played in the All-American game together down in San Antonio. We kind of really started talking then, and then when we got here, we were still kind of like strangers, but we grew a really close bond throughout this last year, so.
What would you say your relationship with Coach Bates is like, and how has it changed since you got recruited?
He hasn't. I mean, he's one of the coaches that just doesn't change. You know, he's been the same since I've gotten recruited and now. We just become closer and closer, you know, just on and off the field. He's always looking out for me and the other D linemen. He's just a really good guy, really good coach.
This is probably a reason to ask, but we're talking about DJ. Like, can you tell he's got a kind of cool personality? And he's from Cali. Like, what is he like?
One of the things that I just can't, like with him, like I get like a little jittery before every game, just, you know, since I was young, I always have. And like I'll go up to him before the game, I was like, you good? Like the Notre Dame game, it was his first start, or no, BC was his first start. So I go to him, I was like, you good? Like, you all good? You nervous? He's like, no, I'm good. Like looking at him, it was the night before, we're in the room, like we roomed together at home games, so we're in the hotel room, like, are you good? Like, you nervous? You all good? He's like, yeah, I don't get nervous. Like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't get nervous. I was like, all right, man, all right, cool, I gotcha. And just like kind of, he just like stone cold on the field, and just no ups or downs. He just is always ice.
Is it that way on the practice field too? I know the coach is saying your guy's defense obviously has great defensive linemen to throw at him.
Yeah.
Does he never?
You just don't see. I mean, no, you don't really see anything phasing. He's just, yeah. Yep.
Just also with you and Miles, obviously Miles is the other freshman who had a really great year. Do you guys push each other? I mean, just trying to reach that next level. You guys obviously were already pretty good that first year. I mean, how much do you push each other to try to get to that next level? Both of you guys.
I mean, honestly, it's the whole D line. You know, we come out here and work just together Saturdays, Sundays. We'll just all come out here and do extra work together, and just everybody just tries to push everybody. We don't let anybody we won't let anybody fall off. Like if somebody's like, oh, I'm not coming, we'll go to their house and pick them up and bring them up here. Like just that kind of thing. We're not going to let anybody fall off if we're all going to go together. So just all kind of push each other.
Yeah, how much?
On a day-to-day basis at practice, do you notice that increased depth from all those guys that have come in and got healthy?
Oh yeah, from last year definitely. You know, it was tough at sometimes last year. You know, maybe being 3 or 4 deep, it can be tough. So yeah, definitely just seeing it, and everybody's getting it now. Everyone's starting to understand everything, and just seeing guys come along, it's really cool to see.
How much of a difference maker do you think that one aspect of you guys' team this year can be for you guys?
It could be huge. It could be everything. You know, we could just keeping guys fresh and ready to go on the field is going to be a huge advantage for us. You know, so it could be really big.
You feel like you guys were worn down at times toward the end of last year because of depth? Just from the grind of the season?
I wouldn't say worn down. I think the only thing that really hinged us maybe was our depth, honestly. It wasn't anybody being worn down. We were always ready for the next game ahead of us. Whoever was dressed and ready to go, we were ready. So, yeah.
A lot of preseason talk about Will Shipley. I'm not going to ask you about his on-field stuff. What was your first impressions of him as a person?
He's quiet. He's a quiet kid. He just kind of does his own thing, kind of stays back. He's super nice, really smart apparently. They say in the classroom, all the kids in his classes. So he's just kind of quiet, does his own thing most of the time, just kind of sits back and watches. Just, yeah.
You got anything to say about the Air Monarchs?
The Air Monarchs?
Isn't that Will Shipley's thing with the Air Monarchs? I thought that was a thing that kind of got brought into the rest of the team.
I haven't heard that yet. I'm going to have to go ask. I'm going to go into the locker room and ask about that.
Tell us
Oh, the shoes. Yes. You're right. Hold on. Okay, yeah. He came in here with these shoes, like, he said he had them since 7th grade and he bought them like 5 sizes too big. He's like, I just thought I could keep wearing them until like they would I just wanted to fit into them at one point. And he wore them like the first 4 weeks in here. Every single day with shorts hanging down to like here on him. He's funny.
Tell us something about you that we might not know. Favorite movie, favorite food?
Ooh.
What do you do in your spare time?
Spare time. Okay. Me and my roommates have really gotten into watching horror movies lately. So we'll all go home every night and just pick a horror movie to turn on and sitting there. We had like an 8-day span from where we didn't have anywhere to stay. Like me and Tyler and RJ, who we're staying in the Venables house, and we're up in their movie room every night just watching a new movie. So yeah, that's what we're into right now.
All right, what's your favorite horror film? Anyone?
You saw a couple weeks ago, The Conjuring 3 came out. We saw that. That was pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yep.
Have you always liked horror films?
No. I still don't. but I watch them.
Okay.
Yep.
Would you say, I think you've been saying Will Shipley's probably the fastest guy on the team. Either with him, Andrew Booth, those guys. I mean, would you say it's close, or is he?
Yeah, he's super fast. I don't know. We haven't really had everybody go out and race, so you can't really, 2 people only. It's always Trenton and Malcolm. They race all the time. They like the Instagram posts and everything about it. Frank Ladson's there's a bunch of really fast guys. That'd be hard to tell you. But yeah, he's up there definitely. Yep.
You excited to see Justin Ross back out here?
Yes, definitely. He was here for the first couple weeks when I got in the spring last year. And it's going to be awesome to see him back on the field.
Cool. Thanks, Bryan.
All right, guys.